Felt, but that possibly ensures that the one last piece of defending Chelsea had to do has gone. Jose thinks so.
Be pretty confident now saying he has, wouldn't we?
Well, he always shows it. He always lets the emotions out.
They deserve it. They've been the better team today. Had more of a threat. Got their big players on the ball.
Jose Mourinho's love affair with this competition continues. It is yet another trophy heading to the Stamford Bridge cabinet. A tactical masterstroke, the inclusion of Kurt Zouma in midfield, scoring at a crucial time just before half-time through John Terry, and then maybe with a touch of fortune, 2 deflections on the goals, Diego Costa adding to the tally via Kyle Walker in the second period. But there is no doubt Chelsea deserving winners of the Capital One Cup. They've beaten Tottenham by 2-0.
Where was Mourinho going? Would love to have known. Would love to have known. It's how it all started, of course, first time round. This was the first trophy he delivered at Chelsea. He followed it with the title and another one. Didn't deliver the big one. That was, of course, Di Matteo that won the European Cup for Chelsea. But this will bring back many happy memories for Chelsea fans. And they say you shouldn't take it too seriously because of the effect it has perhaps on the rest of your season, your league form, your battle to stay afloat in the Premier League, perhaps the fact you're chasing promotion in the Championship. Well, tell that to those Chelsea players right now.
Typical Chelsea, I have to say, Richard. I think a lot of people, myself included, felt that if Tottenham were going to win, they would have to get the first goal. I think you always fear for a team playing against Chelsea in a big game like this if Chelsea take the lead. And when they defend as well as they can, they're a really tough team to break down.
They're so much more streetwise than Tottenham. You know, you look at that back four, Azpilicueta, and you then got Terry, obviously, with Cahill and Ivanovic. They're all... I don't think Spurs have got anything like that.
Nothing like that.
And that is the sort of cornerstone from there. And then, of course, without playing really anywhere near the best, they've won again. He's phoning up his wife to say, we've won again.
He did that at Bolton, remember, all those years ago?
Yeah.
Sat in the dugout.
I've got to say as well, he's taking a chance playing Zouma in midfield, you know. The first half, like I said, he looked a bit lost without the ball. Second half, he was absolutely fantastic defensively, Zouma. I sat in front of John Terry and Cahill, absolutely magnificent. Himself and Ramirez, like Kevin said, they're streetwise. And Chelsea love winning 2-0. And once they're 2 goals in front, you're really gonna get anything from them.
I think we wondered about Tottenham. You know, players going into the first big final, an awful lot of them. It's not easy. And you have to, your best players have to turn up. I thought Harry Kane tried, maybe at times a little too hard. Eriksen, a little disappointing, well, a lot disappointing for me. He hadn't really got in the game enough. And I think others like Chadley, Lamela when he came on, and players like that who you thought might, Andros Townsend, disappointing. I think they'll look back and think that was a disappointing day for us.
To be fair, if you're going to take on Chelsea in a final, you need all your players to turn up. You can't, with the greatest respect, rely on Eriksen and Kane. You made the point. What happens if those two don't get your goals? And the answer is absolutely nothing. They've had, I think, 2 shots I can remember. One I could have saved with my feet, which was from Kane from about 22, 3 yards, whatever. And one other shot in 90 minutes. And they've never been able to get even a foothold in this game in the second half. And without playing well, Chelsea have absolutely dominated them. So, you know, where are Spurs in terms of Chelsea? They're way behind at the moment. They still might finish in the top 4, though.
Not looking for excuses for Spurs, Chris, but they did play a big match on Thursday night. His team have had a free week, which is unusual probably for Chelsea. He'd have made a point about having played in Europe had they not. But does it make a difference?
No. It's the cup final. So if we could have played yesterday, you can't blame fatigue in the cup final. And Tottenham started very, you know, in the first half, they were better in possession than Chelsea. But No, we can't say that. This is the cup final.
I don't think there was anything wrong with their energy level.
No, I thought Tottenham. No, I thought they kept going. They just. Kevin's right. Looking at Chelsea, you never ever thought, even when Tottenham were huffing and puffing at the end, you never really thought they were going to break. The back four for Chelsea are fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Just looking at Mourinho there, remember when he accused Arsene Wenger of being a serial failure, having not delivered a trophy for the best part of 8 years? He was getting on for 3, Mourinho, which by his standards is poor. At last, he's broken that run.
It's poor. Yeah, he's not been managing at Wycombe and teams like that. You know, he's been managing at the top level of football. Yeah, he'll be delighted with this. There's absolutely no doubt. You can see that his delight was there. Players, you just see the players that have won everything. John Terry, and the delight that he's got, because he knows every time John Terry takes the field to a final, it could be his last.
Tottenham fans already gone. Shame, really. I know it's difficult, especially when it's raining like that in the capital city, to make progress around it, but you thought they'd stay and see their team.
Yeah, I think it would help. It would have helped all fans who go to Wembley if they hadn't built it back in the middle of an industrial estate. You know, getting out of that stadium is impossible. And when your team's not playing well, I mean, look at the Man City fans all those years ago in the playoffs when they played Gillingham. I mean, half of them went home, didn't they? Yes. And they ended up getting through and going up a division. So, yeah, you can't blame them. I think a lot of these players going up there and the manager here will feel they didn't do themselves justice. They are better than what they showed today, but maybe you just got to give credit to Chelsea. They don't let you play. They don't give you those opportunities. They've had a tough all day there.
I think it's a big test for Tottenham now. I know we're talking about they've got a chance to finish top 4, but let's see where they go now for the rest of the season. I think it's a tough task for them to keep the pressure on the top 4. Not for Chelsea, I think. That's obviously with what happened with Man City today. You see Chelsea not taking the foot off the gas. They'll go on and win the title now, I believe. But I think the big questions will be asked of Tottenham. Can they kick on from now until the end of the season? Can they get over this disappointment of losing the cup final? And can they try and keep a grip on the chances of trying to finish in that top 4?
Well, here come Chelsea. Let's go back to Wembley and rejoin our commentary team.
Well, he wasn't about for the trophy presentation last time they won this. He was involved in some unfortunate aspects of that final. His injury meant he left the scene of triumph.
Well, all those teams in the earlier rounds in this competition who played weakened teams, who played reserve players, might just be looking on now and thinking, maybe we shouldn't have. Chelsea didn't, and they've got what they deserve.
That's what it's all about. The Alan Hardacre Man of the Match trophy there as well, named after the dreadnought Jimmy Cavney-esque former Football League honcho. And John Terry has won that prize before, by the way, as has Didier Drogba. It's a now familiar walk from FA Cup final to now Football League Cup final. And it's a walk of which they will never tire.
Undeservedly so. They were the best team on the day. No luck about it, they deserved it. It's not so far when you're going up to win it, is it?
You can say that again. Chris Newkirk of Capital One has the privilege of presenting the trophy. Well, they're keeping an eye on the balance sheet a little more closely these days. They have shown some real financial discipline of late. There it suggests Jose's almost felt like he's been running a selling club. Balancing the books has been also important, but it's his investment that enhanced an already trophy-winning side in the top 6 of the Premier League for almost the last 20 years now. 1996, the last time they finished outside, and they'll certainly be higher than 6th this year.
Will he keep hold of his medal, or will he throw it into the fans? Have we seen him do it before?
Might be a lucky recipient. John Terry leading the way. Didier Drogba never far behind. Voted Chelsea's greatest ever player. And drinking in He certainly will hope it's not his last trophy, but it could be. Unlikely, I would think.
Mourinho has his way.
Well, if they live up to expectations, that's the main thing, isn't it? Cesc Fabregas will enjoy this. Often on the other side of the coin in an Arsenal shirt. Like Remy, part of proceedings, Branislav Ivanovic, who's suffered some heartbreak in finals and missing out on finals in the past.
It looked as if those Chelsea players had a point to prove, particularly the back four, because they weren't ridiculed, but questions were asked of them a few weeks ago when Tottenham ran them ragged. In particular, Harry Kane did. Not today. They got every decision right. Other than Eriksen hitting the bar in the first 5 minutes from a set piece, they were comfortable today. Got to give them great credit for that.
Well, the joy of winning trophies does not diminish. There's another one heading to the Stamford Bridge cabinet. And this could well be just the start this season. Chelsea, once again, Capital One Cup winners.
12th trophy that John Terry has picked up as Chelsea skipper. I think 18 months back, was it? Rafa Benitez was telling us he couldn't play 2 games in a week. Well, he does now. 914 days, to be precise, since Mourinho last had his hands on a trophy, the longest barren spell of his career.
That's tough.
He needs to pull his finger out.
Yeah, that's scandalous. He's lucky he's in a job, Richard, in my opinion.
Kevin looked at me somewhat puzzled.
Well, mine's coming up to 9,000. Bit envious of him, but you know, fair dues, because I don't care. I like him. He's certainly the happy one today, but they've deserved this. I mean, they've took it serious. They've played. They've had some tough little games along the way. Had to cope with Champions League and the fact that they're leading the Premiership. All those things, they've still found time to chase this trophy in a proper manner. And
who says it doesn't mean as much second time around, eh?
Yeah.
It's a cup final, isn't it? It's the whole idea to get you want to win it.
I understand the concerns. Prizes are so big now in the Premier League, and there's an argument, of course, Chelsea can afford to go for this with the squad that they have, personnel available to them, and not be distracted. But clubs like Newcastle, Aston Villa, Everton, there's a raft of them, Southampton maybe. Why don't they take this competition more seriously?
I really don't know. Talk about Newcastle, that would be a prime example. They've played weakened sides in it, but don't forget, when Chelsea play what most people would call a weakened side, they've got 2 players for every single position, and that weakened side, if we're honest, is probably stronger than 3/4 at least of the Premier League with their strongest side out. So, you know, they're being rewarded for the investment they've made, not just in the players that are playing, but the players that are coming in and giving players a rest so they can chase the title, so they can chase the Champions League. And he's getting most things right, this guy.
And who says you need stability? I think that's as many trophies as they've had managers now in the last decade. Extraordinary. Chelsea have won it. They've beaten Spurs 2-0 at Wembley. Reaction just as soon as we have it. We'll start to get you up to date very shortly with everything else that's been happening today as well in the world of sport. There's been plenty of it, all of it reflected here on beIN Sports. Did I miss Hugo Lloris go up wearing a Chelsea scarf? Wrong colour of blue.
Wrong colour of blue.
Yeah. He'll look back on that with a little embarrassment in the days and weeks to come. More reaction when we get it.